In this video we're going to look at Pythagoras' theorem. Pythagoras' theorem is used to find one missing length of a right angled triangle given the two other sides. Now in the previous video for this we found the missing length of a right angled triangle that was the longest side. So we had x as our longest side opposite the right angle. That was the one we're trying to find, and we've got our two shorter sides. We were using Pythagoras' theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We labelled up our sides. The longest side, the one always opposite the right angle, is always labelled as c. And then the other two as a and b. It doesn't matter in which order. So we filled it in. We used a for 3, b was 4, and we went through the question, and eventually we ended up with our missing length of x being 5 centimetres. Now in this example we're going to change it up slightly. This time we're going to find the missing length of x given that it's one of the shorter sides. Now we still use Pythagoras' theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now this is where the most common mistake is made with Pythagoras' theorem. C is always the longest side. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's always the missing length. Here C is this side here, because it's opposite the right angle. The other ones we can label up as a and b. It makes no difference which way round. I'm going to label this one up as a and this one up as b. So instead of a squared I'm going to write x squared. Instead of b squared I'm going to write 6 squared, and instead of c squared my c is 10, so I'm going to put 10 squared. Now here we've got our x squared that we want to get alone. If we were to pick this bit up and move it to the other side, when we move over to the other side we always get the opposite sign. The opposite of adding 6 squared is taking away 6 squared. So this time, when we've got the longest side and we're trying to find one of the shorter sides, we're doing the longest side squared take away the shorter side squared that we know. Right, so here x squared is 100, because that is 10 times 10, 10 squared. Take away 6 times 6, 6 squared, which is 36. Right, here what we've got now is that x squared equals, now if we take these away from each other we get 64. Now our final step's exactly the same as before. We need to get x by itself, so the opposite of squaring, we have to square root the other side. So we have to square root 64. And if we put that into our calculator and work that out, or if you think about it, what number times itself makes 64, the answer will be 8. And this time it is metres, so we're going to put metres on the end. So our missing length is 8 metres. So, in summary, if we just have a look at two more, when we have got our two shorter sides and we're trying to find the longest side, we're going to square them and add them to find our x squared, go through the process and square root at the end. When we've got a longer side and a shorter side and we're trying to find our shorter side, we're going to do our longer side squared, take away our shorter side that we know squared. And that will equal our x squared. Again, go through the question, at the end square root and you'll get your x.